is a Wild West show for dirt bikes on a Texas-sized stage. 37 miles of Mother Nature's gnarliest terrain, a drama playing in 2 acts. No script, no rehearsal, no practice. A lap under the sun, another by moonlight, backwards. The cast is huge, 127 players. The leading man, last year's winner, David Knight, maybe the toughest guy in off-road racing. But his challengers have waited all year to take him on for the spotlight. Lights, camera, action. It's the Red Bull Last Man Standing. The sun shines bright on the Texas-Oklahoma border and the second running of the Red Bull Last Man Standing two-wheel endurance extravaganza. But this all-star off-road ensemble find anything but a warm greeting. 2 days out, the weather has cranked up the degree of difficulty. The thing about all that snow and ice is that it melts. Thus, last year's dust is this year's mud. Lots of mud. And where the sun doesn't shine, ah, yes, there, the challenge is ice. Last year, only 14 riders finished the inaugural. This year, organizers wonder if there will be any. The race works this way. The goal is to complete 2 laps in dirt bike hell, the notorious 37-mile Red River Motorcycle Park circuit, including a little bit of everything in terms of terrain. All difficult. In fact, if it's not tough enough, sadistic organizers lend a helping hand. But the weather, rain, snow, and ice, has given the last word to Mother Nature. Finish lap 1 within an hour of the leader, you qualify for lap 2. In the dark, in the opposite direction. Creating a sufficiently brutal challenge has taken months.
The course is difficult. You know, in comparison to last year, a 40-mile loop took 2 hours. This year, a 33-mile loop takes 4.5 hours. So the difficulty is 10 times. You know, this is a course that's demanding on a motorcycle and demanding on a rider.
To meet the demands, an invitation-only field from around the world up against the homers who know the local conditions. 126 men and 1 woman, from teenagers to over 50. And all of them pay homage to 27-year-old David Knight. The tougher things get, the better Knight likes it.
For me, for an extreme race, it should be like maximum 6 finishes. That's it, you know, and you've got to sweat to get there, and when you get to the end, then you know what you've done, and you appreciate it, you know, that you've got to the end of the race and you know how difficult it was.
Knight's biggest challengers, maybe those who followed him across the Atlantic.
Yeah, I've put David under a bit of pressure before, and he knows it's there, you know, he's no stranger to it, and I mean, he's still the best in the world, and it's his full-time job. You know, I'm still working and running my business and doing these events, but I'll keep him on his toes, I'll keep him honest.
Predictably, the hardware choices cover the waterfront. 2-stroke, 4-stroke, big bore, lightweight. All of them, of course, rear-wheel drive. So, will this be the great equalizer when it's time to run the deep mud? The Christini, all-wheel drive. More on that later. Competitors may walk the start area, but they're not allowed to see the course. Last year, when the going got tough, the tough got help. Officials and spectators to the rescue.
There's guaranteed no spectator help and no course worker help. The only thing that a course worker can do is move you out of a line.
As a result, partnerships have quickly formed.
Big strategy with a lot of people is talking about getting a kind of team together with 2 people or working together to get over most of the obstacles.
But last year's winner is having none of that.
I'd rather sit at the bottom of a gully on my own crying and, you know, than getting help of somebody to get up it. So I just want to go and do my own thing and start the race, finish the race, and do it on my own.
When we come back, one of the wildest starts in all of racing. The Red Bull Last Man Standing. Welcome back. Last year, 88 riders started this event, and that start was one of the craziest things we've ever seen. This year, the field is up to 127 bikes. You don't need me to tell you how wild that's going to be. Just sit back, crank up the volume, and have a look. The first obstacle, man-made. It's called rodeo cross, and the log jam it creates will be the first of many during the day. David Knight made it through with number 62 Guy Cooper on his heels. Behind them, a hornet's nest, all buzz and pent-up anger. A bad start can make this the longest day of your life. Those lucky and fast enough to get away clean have a big advantage. The course is just as tough for them, but they avoid the misery of waiting in line. This is the infamous wall. How do you climb that? Well, Knight demonstrates the answer. Cooper close behind. That wasn't so hard now, was it? But one slip by one rider, that means trouble for everybody else. Lending a helping hand can be perilous, and serious racers always make that decision with strategic self-interest. If I help him, will it ultimately help me?
I've been very fortunate to travel around and do a lot of racing, and we got some tough races back home in South Africa, and this is definitely the toughest race I've ever done. The organizers have just done a fantastic job just to find obstacles that are doable but difficult. And the hard part about it is we have an obstacle, after an obstacle, after an obstacle. There's no time for rest.
So how come the guy out front never seems to need any rest? Does it have anything to do with his equipment?
Bike and riding's a KTM 300XC model. Really, I choose this bike for this type of race. Normally, I ride a 525 four-stroke for World Championship in basically every race. You know, the 300 is a good all-around bike. It's, you know, it's got good torquey power. It's light. Doesn't get too hot like the four-stroke if you're stuck somewhere for 5 or 10 minutes. You know, it's just the four-stroke's a good bike. But for this type of race, I think the two-stroke, you know, unpredictable weather conditions and things, the two-stroke's a real good all-around bike, and that's a bike, hopefully, that can win.
Behind Nighter, a change of positions. Cooper has lost the trail. Last year's runner-up, Nathan Caney, again taking that second spot, this time determined not to let Knight beat him again.
He's really aggressive, and I think he's like, you know, he's not patient. He's not content to go slow and think the race through and take it slow and wait for the end to come. He sucks down a Red Bull and he goes out and just goes full speed right off the bat. And, you know, I think that also makes him vulnerable. So he's not willing to let the race come to him, and that's something that I'm quite good at.
But Caney also has trouble behind. Cooper is back on course and hauling, making up for his mistake. And the second Brit, Wayne Braybrook, he's also gaining ground on the leaders. When we come back, the front runners head for the hills where a hearty crowd of spectators wait. This is Joshua Tree. End of the line for a lot of riders last year, a key challenge for anyone who wants to be the Red Bull last man standing. This is the Red Bull last man standing, 2 37-mile laps through some of the toughest stuff two wheels can tackle. Out front, all alone, last year's winner, David Knight. So far, only our cameras have appreciated his great ride, but at Joshua Tree, he'll have his first opportunity to dazzle the crowd. Number 10, Nate Kinney, has passed Guy Cooper to move into second place within sight of the leader. Here's his attempt at Joshua Tree. No go. He's headed back down for another try. Tiny miscue, but Caney suffers a painful face plant. Meanwhile, number 62, Cooper, working his way back forward. Check out the braking. This stuff is slick. And for Cooper, last man standing is his kind of race.
I came down here last year because people said the trail couldn't be made, and that just enticed me. I go, I like a challenge, and so coming down here to a trail that's supposedly unmakeable, it sounds great.
Right behind comes Braybrook. Not the first time he's tried to put pressure on his countryman David Knight.
You know, I pressured David in Hell's Gate in Italy, and there ain't many people in the world can put him under pressure because of the trials experience and everything else. Plus, you've got to be pretty tall in the leg to do these events. You've got to be able to pick the bike up and carry it where you need to do.
We'll see how much size matters. As the troubled Caney's YZ250 overheats, he watches Cooper go by for second. Coop, the world Supercross champ back in '93, short on grip, using all his best moves. But trouble is coming. Braybrook is close enough to challenge for second place. He'll bide his time, settling for now for a cool drink. Then both head off with the enthusiastic support of the Joshua Tree crowd. While the front runners are attacking the course at speed, those behind have found the pace a bit frustrating. The biggest problem so far, the log jams. And here's the reason. These hills and these waist-deep ruts.
Grab your ass in and pick it up.
Sit back, relax, take a number. Now serving number 45. This is Cottonwood Creek, far from the view of the spectators, but for you, a front row seat.
I'm done. I broke my handlebars off. I was already tired before I got to this.
Todd Corwin's approach is unique. This move doesn't have a name, so I get to come up with one. How about tree breaking? Not for beginners. Now for the cliches. You knew they were coming. The dog-eat-dog, best man win mentality has taken a back seat. Goodwill lending a helping hand, replacing it for the moment. Without help, most of this field would probably not make it beyond mile 5. you remember that two-wheel drive bike, the Christini? Here's one now with 10-time U.S. Trials champ Jeff Aaron getting a grip. Where better to show off new technology than one of the toughest races of the year.
It's basically a Honda with two-wheel drive. You know, once the rear wheel starts to spin, the front wheel engages.
The system works similar to automobiles, four-wheel drive automobiles. It transfers power from the rear of the motorcycle to the front, and it senses when you lose traction. So it's a rather simple system from that, and it'll work very well on hill climbs, cornering, things of that nature. The motorcycle is available now, and it's going to be available on Hondas and KTMs this coming year.
Two-wheel drive dirt bikes. Is it an idea whose time has come? When we come back, will this hill-named triple threat pose one for our leader? More from the Red Bull Last Man Standing coming up. Road course. When we left last year's runner-up Nathan Caney, he was sidelined with an overheating problem that is temporarily fixed. He's back under power, having fallen 2 spots to 4th. Now remember, if you're not within an hour of the leader after lap 1, you're done, you're out. Fewer than a dozen riders will make that cut. Canadian Corey Graffunder on his KTM 250 SX is in a solid 5th overall. Now check out 2 different approaches to the same obstacle. Kyle Redmond seeks out the path of least resistance. Nathan Wood tries a more direct approach, and each gets the job done. Gravity, meanwhile, always an issue. Remember, kids, always wear your protective gear. Just 4 miles from the finish. Things get even tougher if that's possible. This is called Triple Threat, a series of ups and downs across car-sized boulders. Throw in a little mud, a little snow, a little ice. The fun factor just increases exponentially. The leader, David Knight, gets the honors of being the first up, his 6-foot 4-inch frame, an advantage here. After a brief bobble, he's back underway. Down again, then back up. Knight takes his time, finds the right line. Yes, his trials background has served him well here. While behind, it's Braybrook's turn. A handful of throttle, a whole lot of muscle. He's gotten around Guy Cooper for second. And now it's Coop's turn to get bogged down. Remember what Cooper said earlier? He's here for the challenge. Well, this is what he was talking about.
Well, each trip I make it up, it's just getting slicker and muddier. And it's tough. No doubt, it's a tough hill.
Hey, there are no extra points for style. Below, the logjam has started. The kiss of death for some riders' hopes. The leader, Knight, on his way to the last obstacle, Texas Stadium, with a 20-minute advantage over second place. David's lead is in no danger. The issue is that 1-hour cutoff. Problems for Knight here might get a few more challengers into the second lap. In no great rush, Knight is on his way to the checks. Behind, the pressure is on. Second and third are through triple threat, but for many hopefuls, this may be the end of their day. Number 111, Corey Graffunder, desperately trying to hold on to fourth spot. On the horizon, Knight can see the finish line. This event is scored by Moto format, the sum of both finishes determining the winner. The last set of obstacles, child's play for Knight. His day's work is half over. His crew standing by with good news.
How long was that?
An hour and 35 minutes.
Settle.
Or 2 hours.
The time, just under 2 hours, 35 minutes.
You said earlier that you wanted it so rough that you'd be the only guy that had a crack at finishing it. Are you happy now?
Yeah, there was a place near the start that was, real bad, and everyone got jammed. We all got jammed up, and that was the first. I was probably there a minute and a half or so before anyone else got there. There's probably 5 minutes from the start. I think it was Guy Cooper. He gave me a help up, so I waited and gave him a help up, and then I just pinned it. And there was a couple of places that you got to, and I thought, Jesus, how am I going to get up that? And just took my time. Got set up. It was quite bad being first because there was no ruts anywhere. It was just real slippery on top and wet. So I just had to, make a few ruts, have a few goes, and then I'd get up. So it was good fun.
I can't imagine having any more fun than this.
Well, neither can we. And there's a lot more of it ahead as the Red Bull last man are now racing the clock. Those within reach are trying desperately to finish the first lap within an hour of David Knight's winning time. Do that, and you earn another lap in hell. Fail, you load up and go home.
Oh, my fingers are cramping. Oh.
At triple threat, riding skill has given way to brute strength. Forward movement, now measured by the inch. Turns out the organizers have a heart. Taking into account the muddy conditions and multitude of bottlenecks, the cutoff time to qualify for lap 2 has been doubled from 1 hour to 2. Most get the news on course. For them, it's still over. Wayne Braybrook makes it official. He lands second place. Behind, only a handful of hopefuls must tackle Texas Stadium. Number 62, Cooper, trying to hold on to third spot. Braybrook, meanwhile, has caught his breath.
Wayne, you said you were looking for a rough one. Was this it?
Unbelievable. I've never ridden anything like that. Never done anything so tough in all my life. Just like some of the elements in there, geez, you won't get a trials bike up them. I've had to get off the bike and lift it up out the way. Unbelievable.
It looks like 10 riders will make the cut if they can get out of Texas Stadium in time. Stephen Edmondson almost out and adding his name to round 2. As sheer exhaustion begins to take its toll, just kicking over the engine is a triumph. Marty the Party Hall Mazda running 10th, also running out of steam. Ahead, number 99, Jordan Brandt comes out in one piece, and he'll make the hour 2 deadline. Others pay the physical price. Ouch. Russell Bobbitt shakes that off. He's determined to make lap 2. To his aid comes Nick Farringer, running right behind Bobbitt. He could have motored by, but for them, this has become a team effort. With a helping hand over the rough stuff, from here, it's up to Bobbitt. He makes it. And now it's payback time. Russell waits for Farringer's run. Both will finish in time to make the final. They will join an elite field and have a chance to be the last man standing. Meanwhile, Guy Cooper has finished third.
Coop, results after the first half of this run, a lot better than a year ago. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I'm on a two-stroke, which helps a little bit. Older and wiser, I don't think that helps any. I'm too old for this. I feel good out there. It's just some of that stuff. Whenever I've got to lift the bike over, I'm just exhausted, absolutely exhausted. I love it. I'm having so much fun, but when it's deadlift, the bike, I don't have much in me left.
So you're going to get a little rest, and then you got to go back out and do it all over again, only it's going to be dark, and you're going to run it reverse.
I know, and it's muddy. It's way muddier than I thought it was going to be. I thought a little bit of snow soak in. We've had real dry conditions in Oklahoma, Texas, so I thought this would be perfect. It's sloppy down in there. There's still snow and ice on some of the hills, so it's tough, really tough. And then there's hills out there that it's just unbelievable. After the first 20 or 30 guys through, I don't think we could all make it. Even the guys who finished this lap, I don't think we could go another lap in that same direction. It's just too rutted out, too muddy. The rocks get chewed out from all of us trying to go up it, and we're spinning and chewing it out. Sometimes it just makes the V so far down, the foot pegs are hanging up.
Okay, can you get yourself fired up and go out there and finish another lap?
I quit last year with the lap to go, and I want to finish. I will go until I don't have no go left.
Number 85, Chris Smith, will be the last finisher before the cutoff. That means a two-wheel drive Christini will start the second round. After today, many of these riders are going to need a lot of new stuff, new parts, maybe some new clothes, maybe even a new bike. The sun is sinking and the temperature is dropping, but the action will be heating up. It's the Red Bull. This is in the books. KTM rider David Knight finished 24 minutes ahead of fellow Brit Wayne Braybrook. Knight has the benefit of a good crew. They tend to the equipment, freeing up David's time for
getting pestered by you buggers with cameras. No, just as soon as I got in, I got changed and, had something to eat and just have a drink and things, really, and try not to think about what we have to do again.
But instead of hiding in his motorhome, Knight entertains the next generation of endurance dirt bike stars.
What else is up for me?
Of 127 starters, only 11 are still standing, prepping for the night lap. The man who finished second here last year is not among them.
I thought I was going to finish the lap. I thought I would see enough people that I could just stop and keep borrowing water to fill the radiators up, and unfortunately there just wasn't enough people out there to keep stopping and getting water, and it just didn't make it.
So 127 have been whittled down to 11. The two Brits, David Knight and Wayne Braybrook, are still in it, as well as American standouts Guy Cooper and Russell Bobbitt. These are the toughest of the tough. They're still standing.
All right, guys, for the start, you're going to go down here. You're going to do the same thing you did during the day. Down through the start area, back up through the rodeo cross. You're going to pick up the night marking. Black backgrounds, white arrows.
Once again, the Nighter takes the point. The rodeo cross, the first challenge as the sun sets on this second leg. Guy Cooper follows, and then comes Braybrook. The physical price paid in lap one already showing. Number 59, Stephen Edmondson, using manpower to muscle over the logs here at Rodeo Cross. Knight knows this is the magic moment. Dig deep, go fast, get away. line. The battle for second is this tight. Cooper outside Baybrook. Cooper turns back the attempted pass. Ahead, Knight winds his way through the woods en route to the first major obstacle, now Texas Stadium. An oasis of light in what will be a very dark night. David Knight makes his way down the ravine, a great place for spectators, the course snaking its way up and down these boulder-strewn hills. Next in is Baybrook. He's gotten around Cooper, has his sights set ahead on the leader. Baybrook makes it down clean. But something has happened to Cooper. Taking over third is number 72, Kyle Redmond of California. Getting a little TV time for the big four-stroke Honda CR450R. David Knight is on his way out of Texas Stadium and on to triple threat. Behind, Wayne Baybrook has closed the gap despite big trouble. What's that old saying? The hurrier I go, the behinder I get. Baybrook has to get back underway and has to do it on his own. By rule, his crew is not allowed to help.
Gas cable snapped.
Ah, no way. Man, you're doing good, dude.
Simple riding skill and strength are not enough here. Baybrook is losing valuable time. Not only does this allow Knight to widen the gap ahead, but Kyle Redmond is closing in third. Baybrook hastily finishes the repair. The question, will it hold? He instructs his crew to get a throttle cable just in case. Here's Redmond closing fast. And Corey Graffunder is hot on Redmond's tail, literally. Well, those extra revs can't help. Only 31 miles to go. He's going to cool his heels and catch his breath. Finally, Cooper emerges and joins the fray. Guy has slipped to 7th. Here's number 120, Russell Bobbitt, up to 5th. And number 35, Marty Halmazna, in 6th, making the uphill turn. Now it's Cooper's turn. And Stephen Edmondson next. Overheating remains a widespread problem regardless of engine configuration. The last man out of Texas Stadium, Jordan Brandt. Ooh, that's a little too close to the action. There are no points awarded for tagging the spectator. Up front, for a rare moment, David Knight seems almost human. He actually has a bit of a problem. But he also has a solution. If you can't ride it up, carry it. We'll be back to this epic struggle in a moment. Welcome back to the Red Bull Last Man Standing. David Knight still leads. Time lost here at Triple Threat of little concern. If this was tough for Knight, imagine what it's going to be like for everyone else. As the leader heads off into the darkness, it's Wayne Braybrook's turn at Triple Threat. Faced with the same rock wall but a smaller physical frame, Braybrook strains every muscle to get it up and over. Now the officials can hold and keep the bike from rolling backward, but cannot assist in moving it forward. It will take a full minute of lifting for him to get his bike up this rock face. While Knight and Braybrook took on this hill solo, the rest of the field will pool their efforts. Even then, the going is painfully slow. Braybrook is on his way from Triple Threat, hoping he hasn't lost too much ground. The leader, Knight, meanwhile, back at Joshua Tree. Remember, the course is run backwards, so every hill is basically new. Playing safe, Knighter's going to make a stop, confer with his crew, check out the line. Now time to go for it. He faces a slight disadvantage. His helmet lights have failed. No time for repairs. He'll motor on. Meantime, the bottleneck at Triple Threat grows. The clock counting down, but the effort has not slowed. Braybrook has made it to Joshua Tree. He's open to suggestions as far as the best lineup. With the motor and the crowd revved up, he hits the hill. And at the top, time for a quick break.
Way to go, man!
Behind, number 120, Russell Bobbitt, exiting Triple Threat. He was the lone American threat to the two Brits ahead, but time has run out. Braybrook back underway, now with little chance of catching Knight. The news has spread. Knight is close. At the finish, the crowd's gathering. Lights emerging from the darkness is David Knight. It's been less than 3 hours since the start of round 2. Just like round 1, this guy has built an insurmountable lead. One more obstacle, and he'll be the last man standing.
That was tough, you know, from the start. This morning, the end of the lap was easier than the start, and then riding it the opposite way. There was a real bad bit on that 3, whatever it's called. Triple Threat, yeah. And I didn't think I was going to get up. I thought I was going to have to get my rope out and pull my bike up, and you know, you've got to just keep trying and trying. If you can't get up, you've just got to keep going and going. And for me, that's what an extreme race should be. And you know, it's not finished until you get up that there, and that's that's hard enough. You know, near probably the last hour was nightmare. It was just big sand, soft ruts everywhere, and the swing arm was grinding out and the wheel was spinning, so it was a nightmare.
The race is over. Knight wins again. For Braybrook, it's a nightmare. He's less than 2 miles from the finish. But for the other 9, the story ends here at Joshua Tree.
Race is over, buddy. David's already at the end. You're going to go to the top of the hill over here and turn off to your right. Go down the road. Good ride, buddy. 4th place.
Excellent ride.
Braybrook makes the most of the finish line moment. The only other rider to take the checker within the 1-hour time limit.
Wayne, outstanding effort on your part, man.
That's the hardest thing I've ever done. Unbelievable. Some of those creeks down there, I got stuck in them. Had 6, 7, 8 goes at getting out. Just impossible. No way getting out of them. They got so boggy. I just couldn't give up. I got to keep going.
I got to ask you again, is it too hard?
It's real hard, but it's sorted the man out from the boys, you know. That's what it's about.
In truth, this event is about a lot of things: accepting an outrageous challenge, elevating one's personal best, overcoming pain and exhaustion, sportsmanship, sometimes outweighing competition. In my book, everybody who has what it takes just to enter, just to try this event is a hero. But in the end, it's all about the last man standing. Congratulations for the 2nd year in a row to David Knight. To ensure great coverage of events like this in the future, we'll need fearless camera ops to catch all the action. Red Bull brought out 12 interns to learn how to do just that, and we're going to leave you with a sample of their hard work. I'm Dave Despang. Thanks for coming along for the ride.